record.
All right, gentlemen, thank you. This is the third panel conversation. We have pastors. If you guys wouldn't mind, just to open up, would you mind introducing yourself, saying your name, maybe give what you feel comfortable giving about your ministry experience, and yeah, we'll go, and then we'll jump into the questions. So, Shelton, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I'm Shelton Marsden, Seashore Community Church. I'm the new guy on the block, so I'm just doing what the Lord leads me to do, and just in it to win it for the Lord.
Amen. Thank you. Leo?
Leo Dodd. I'm a pastor at First Assembly of God in Cape May, and guess I've been here for about going on 13 years, I think, which is really amazing. So that's all I can think of.
Yeah, look at him. He's doing really good. He's only 24, and he's...
Yeah.
Scott?
Not a stressful place at all.
Scott Durbin. I've been in ministry for 34 years, and I've been here going on just about 20 years, and I've been a police chaplain for about 18 of those.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you. And Pastor Glenn.
Glenn Shank, Tabernacle United Methodist Church. I was a missionary for 13 years out and about, and 4 years seminary, and then been doing the pastor thing. This is my 20th year, and a good chunk of that I've served in police and fire chaplaincy.
Wonderful. Well, hey, gentlemen, thank you again for taking time out of your busy morning. Part of the original game plan was not doing it in this format, but you guys stepped up to the plate and helped me out. I'm greatly appreciative of that. The first question, what we'll do is we'll just, we don't necessarily have to go in an order, so whoever feels inspired, and then the others can hop in when they're done. But the first question is what is your understanding of the role of a chaplain in the military setting? What is your understanding of the role of a chaplain in a military setting? Anyone want to take that first?
Well, I think you're probably going through a lot of that right now, where in times of crisis, and military is tough enough to give them some place to go that is a safe place, or somebody that can help maybe speak truth and reason into their lives and in the midst of chaos. But primarily just to be there as that person they can go to, someplace they can go, and as a sounding board, especially in the time of crisis, somebody who can be a kind and maybe loving and help guide them through tough times.
Yeah, good. Leo?
Yeah, I was just saying that you need to be able to listen and be a sounding board and be able to have knowledge of many different faith traditions to be able to interact with who you're talking to.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm experiencing is that. What do you, Pastor Glenn or Shelton?
I just think about kids that have left home for the first time, and they're not used to being out in the world, and they've listened and lived in their parents' home and under their guidance, and they get out into a world that is a little bit different than what they're used to, and police or the chaplain's able to guide them and direct them and in their spiritual walk, and some of them that don't have them maybe lead them in the way they should go.
Yeah, good. Pastor Glenn?
Yeah, kind of what Pastor Shelton was saying is that from a first responder point of view, a lot of them have friends and families they can bounce things off of. But having interacted with a number of Coast Guard personnel here, what Pastor Shelton said, there's that isolation aspect of it. And so from the military, of the chaplain may be, I don't want to say the only friend, but it's just somebody outside of family and friends, which that person doesn't have any access to. That really can be meaningful and powerful. Yeah,
so true. Yeah, well, thank you, gentlemen. No, I agree. Yeah, that's good. Have you ever considered becoming a military chaplain? Why or why not? Have you ever considered being a military as an option, serving God as a chaplain? Anyone like to jump in that one first?
Yeah, I've considered it. I'm under the impression I'm too old, but especially my father was in the military, my sister was in the military, my son is in the military, so I have a heart for them. Not so much the the excitement of being in the military, just the knowing the issues that they go through, and being there and doing a different type of ministry. Pastoral ministry is a very unique. When I say it has unique challenges, and I'm sure chaplaincy has unique challenges too. But sometimes you're doing a lot of what you see as non-ministry stuff in the pastoral role, as opposed to the chaplaincy, where you're doing a lot more. It seems like what we were trained for.
Yeah, yeah. And just to let you know, Chuck and Leo, there's a saying that's kind of funny: if there's a will, there's a waiver.
My dogs want to be on the Zoom call, so
Yeah, well, welcome. So have you ever considered becoming a military chaplain? Why or why not? Anyone next?
Yeah, my dad was a chaplain's assistant in the Army, and there were a couple times and I'm with Leo. There came a point where I thought I was too old, and then of course you were taught us differently. I mean, somebody your age can get in, anybody can. So
With Moses.
no, but yeah, it wasn't. It was always something I thought would be a great role to play, but or to be a part of. But the opportunity just never really presented itself at the right time.
Yeah, yeah. Believe it or not, one of the guys I came here with no prior military experience, 58 years old, with no prior military experience,
Wow.
is here with me.
Wow.
So anyway, who else would like to jump in on this one?
Well, he's older than me, so I can't use the age card on that one. But besides that, I don't know my left from my right, so I wouldn't make it. But I think there is definitely a need for it, because it seems like this younger group today, they suffer with anxiety. Like I've never seen it before, and I don't know where it comes from. But the family member was in the Army. She's not in there now, but she struggled with anxiety in there, and she really needed someone to talk to while she was there, especially being 3,000 miles away from home and not being able to get with mom and dad. It was a little hard, but yeah, maybe there should be ways that the outside world can team up with the military, and even if they're not in active duty, to be able to be like an assistant to the chaplain or something on the outside world. Something I would be into, but not to join the military itself.
Yeah, yeah, and we have nothing. I mean, so one thing the military does civilian wise in that aspect is not really. I think it would be kind of thought provoking to have a chaplain assistant in a sense of helping that. What they do is like MFLAC, they call it, which is military family something, but it's a civilian counselor that that active duty people can go see. And then we have a thing called crew ministry, which is around every military base. There are civilians that help with the Sunday morning worship, and so that's a big help. But yeah, thought provoking. Good thought. I don't know how, but it'd be neat. I know I would take some help. Like I think I told you guys, or individually, I'm one chaplain for close to 3,000 recruits.
Wow.
And it's just. Honestly, they just stack them. You never, if you think you go home in the day when everything's done, you'll never go home, because there's never an end of the day. You just got to be satisfied with where you got to and realize you plow on again tomorrow.
wow.
Yeah. Pastor Glenn, have you ever thought about becoming a military chaplain? Why or why not?
Well, during my missionary time, I pursued the idea of seminary, and I got the seminary catalog, and it mentioned in there about getting pursuing military chaplaincy. I never really did that, but every year when we have our annual meetings, we would have some guys and gals show up in uniform, and I would chat with them from time to time, and they were military chaplains. And so, yeah, I never pursued it. I guess life got in the way.
Sure. And one thing about military, and you guys, if anyone understands this, you guys, is it's a calling too, right? I mean, it's like anything in life. I mean, if you're not called to do this specifically, it's just like being a pastoral ministry. If you think it's a good idea and you jump into it and you're not called to it, it'll eat you up and throw you right back out,
My wife thinks I have a bad eye. My wife thinks that would disqualify me.
There's a will, there's a waiver. I'm telling you, there's this other friend of mine who came in. The guy's like a bionic man. He got in a bad car accident, almost died. He's got steel plates in his back. The guy got everything you can have wrong with him. I mean, high blood pressure. I think maybe a pacemaker, maybe. I don't even know. But the guy's got like all these, seriously, like he's on like 10 medications and he's in. I'm like, how did you like they got onto me for a hernia? Like, are you kidding me? And I found out, like, I went and did a sleep study to show I didn't have apnea, and I learned you could get a waiver for sleep apnea, which I didn't know. So basically, honestly, there's a will, there's a waiver. They're about the United States Navy, I believe, is over 200 chaplains short right now. Like
Wow.
literally billets that are void because there's no one, just not enough people. So
Wow.
yeah. Not a sales pitch, just sharing facts. Next question. Do you know any military chaplains? If so, have you talked to them about their military experience within the chaplain corps?
Well, we know you. Probably there's a guy in Cape May here, Alan Leonard, who is an auxiliary chaplain, works with the Coast Guard. And then whoever I've met at the Coast Guard base through the years, guys.
Okay.
He's not a chaplain.
Have you ever
Yeah.
talked to them about their experiences? Anyone?
I've got one.
Okay.
We had a fellow who just retired as a pastor. I guess his last church was up in Absecon, but he was very proud. I want to say, I can't say, Navy chaplain. But the first time I interacted with him, I knew him when I started this whole pastoral process, and kind of connected with him. And he actually was serving over in Afghanistan, and we actually did a Zoom call in Afghanistan probably a good 20 years ago. And so he speaks fondly of his chaplain service, and he just cares for people.
Mhm.
And so that was my most recent interaction with him, was probably maybe a year ago, but he's since retired. But he speaks very fondly of his chaplaincy experience and career.
Sure. It's definitely diverse. It's definitely interesting, to say the least, from my vast experience of 5 months.
Yeah, I know the gentleman who was the police or the Coast Guard chaplain, Father Miles. I've met a couple of the chaplains that have come through there living here. I've run into them at different things. But over the years, I've had a chance to meet a couple, and yeah, they were diverse, and they were. It was interesting because one of them wasn't from a church background necessarily, and kind of got into being the chaplain more of a secular way, which was really kind of a funny take on it. You say they're a different perspective, and but yeah, they've all had very different experiences and very different takes on their chaplain role. But Father Miles, I've known for about 20 years, and he's teaching me to fly, so I put a lot of faith in him.
Hopefully in an air. Hopefully he's teaching you to fly in an airplane.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're putting a little too much trust in him.
I thought he
Yeah.
was blind. Sheldon, you got any thoughts?
No, you're the only chaplain I know, and from right here, you're doing an awesome job, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we got 2 last questions here. Can you describe to me what you believe are the steps to becoming a chaplain? I mean, if you don't know anything, just say, I don't have a clue, or, this is what I've been told, or what I think. Anyone? Okay, moving on.
I don't know. I don't know what the steps are.
I only know what you went through, which was an eye opener. Just the steps that you went through as far as. I'm sure there's an application process. I did talk to a reserve officer at a police chaplains conference once, and he made it sound extremely simple. Then I saw what you went through, and I went, "Huh, So it's more than just filling out an application and doing a job interview. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's a calling. I mean, it's like for example, you guys are all ordained or will be ordained soon, right? And that's a journey, right? At the beginning, you think, hey, I want to be a pastor. What do I got to do? Just, oh, okay, I'm a pastor, got my little, and then all of a sudden you start realizing, like, what? I got to go to school. What? I've got to do all this. Like, what? And, it's just, you got to be interviewed, and it just kind of grows. And yeah. Anyone else? You want to take a shot at the steps? They know any? Okay. The primary step, just throwing it out there, is actually contacting a Navy recruiter. You just go Google online, Navy recruiter, and one will pop up. And if you call and it sounds like you have a pulse, they'll call you back. And then they begin to guide you, and in all fairness, Scott, you're right. And you guys all know, you guys all journeyed with me for the most part through my experience. It is a journey, but it was also during COVID, which everything was an experience during COVID. Just to go to the grocery store was an experience. So it might be a little different now. But anyway, do you promote? Okay, this is a big one. I'm kind of curious on this one because I think I knew the answer when I was pastoring. But do you promote or know if your denomination promotes this missional opportunity to your congregation or to your churches of military chaplaincy? Are you guys familiar with anything? Do you see anything? Do you hear anything about it?
Well, there are people definitely in our denomination that do chaplaincy, but it seems like it's really disconnected to the church. And probably part of it is my fault. I do police chaplaincy, but I don't really talk about it a lot in the church. Maybe I should. I just mention it, but it's just part of my ministry. And I know my experience, and it's really understandable with the Coast Guard, is that they seem to want to keep a certain distance. Like they want to invite us in for meetings, but then they don't want to look like they're favoring a certain church or anything. So we've always had this feeling of like, well, okay, how do we support the base that's here? How do we support the chaplains that are here? And I don't think it's anyone's fault. I just think it seems like there's a disconnect, and I think my sense is that the chaplains have been a little nervous about how much they allow us to get involved, right? And at the same time, I think they really want help, but it just seems to me, I get the impression that there's things in place that kind of prevent that, whether good or bad. So there hasn't been a real, in my situation, a deliberate attempt to promote chaplaincy or talk a lot about it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just saying that I realize that as you asked the question.
Yeah, I that's my experience. But anyway, we'll see what everyone else.
Right. From what I know, with the Nazarene denomination, they have in the general church, they have somebody that's in charge of people that are going into chaplaincy, and it's my experience that they're treated more as like a missionary, going, still a member of a church, but then they're going out as missionaries into into whatever field of chaplaincy they're going to go into, and it's treated differently, and you have to be an ordained elder of the church to be even able to do that, unless you get a waiver. I guess you could get a waiver if need be. But I think the Nazarene Church is really strong on all these ministries, especially the chaplaincy as well.
Good.
But you would know better than me, being a Nazarene.
All right. Church, it was definitely, and going through college, it was something that was actually promoted as an option as far as being a military chaplain. And I know that I'm with Leo. I don't always tell people or talk a lot about being the police chaplain, or the chaplaincy, but I know that we've always been really supportive of anybody going in the military besides if they were a minister going in.
Good. Pastor Glenn?
Actually, I might even be sharing a little bit about just engaging with an interview with you, probably maybe tomorrow. I'm really trying to use what I do here as a way to connect the church with the community. That there is a role for chaplaincy in our community as a way of connection. The United Methodists have actually what they call an endorsing agency. I think, as Pastor Shelton mentioned, that you have to be an ordained elder, have to have a certain number of years of service. It's police chaplaincy, fire chaplaincy, also military chaplaincy, though I think military chaplaincy takes a different a path because that would obviously require a full-time commitment, whereas police and fire, we can be endorsed and still serve in our local church.
Yeah, correct. I mean, I get it. I know Shelton, me and you are the same flavor in a sense. And I mean, I was prior military, served, 15 years in the church as a minister, and saw very little, if ever, about military chaplaincy. And maybe I wasn't looking, maybe it was there and I just was blinded to it, or maybe it was never there. I don't know. But I'm hoping to bring more awareness, at least to the Methodists and Nazarenes and in the near future, not because I'm trying to, it's just a neat opportunity. A lot of people may not know exist, and it's deeply needed. I know for me, gentlemen, we only have a couple minutes left. I know for me, I've experienced a vast number of ministry way more opportunities than I've ever imagined about sharing my faith, answer questions of faith, but I'm also in a very unique setting, right? I'm at a Marine Corps Depot boot camp where there's 3,000 kids probably under the age of 21 years old away from home for the first time, and everybody seeking God here. So I have a kind of a captive audience, but still it's very rewarding. Well, hey, gentlemen, I thank you so much for taking the time and meeting with us today. I wish we had more time to at least spend a few minutes together talking, but they're asking me to pay money now if I go past 30 minutes.
Leo's got it.
And so we're gonna pass the plate and see if we can go 45. But hey, I love you guys. I appreciate you. If I could ever do anything for any of you, please let me know. And I hope you have a blessed Saturday and a blessed Sabbath tomorrow.
Amen.
Thank you.
Love you
too.
too.
All right, God bless, guys. Talk to you later.
Welcome, Shelton, to Cape May.
Yeah, we got to get together, Shelton.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was that?
We
Got
have
to get together. Shelton.
Yes, amen. Let's plan on that. I'm on that group text,
Right.
so just let me know.
Okay.
You got it,
Sounds
guys.
great.
Appreciate you.